Uh,
Keith?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 18th meeting of the Stockbridge Planning Board. On our agenda tonight, we have review the minutes for March the 4th, update on accessory dwelling units for the zoning bylaws, continued discussion on the master plan update the Affordable Housing Trust, update from the Affordable
Yes.
Housing Trust Committee, and then agenda items for our next meeting. So with that, I would say that we'll jump right down to Affordable Housing Trust Committee report.
Oh, we have to.
Oh, we have to do the minutes, yeah. Do I have a motion to
I,
approve?
Motion?
yes.
I'll second the
Okay.
motion.
To approve the minutes from March the 4th. All those in favor?
Yay.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
Okay, now you want to hear from me.
We do.
Okay, so we haven't met since February 13th. We've had 3 meetings since the last time I spoke to you. Some of it's redundant. I'll try not to be too redundant, but I have lots of pages here. We've talked about CPC funding. We put in a grant for 200,000 and we got 100 on the town warrant for approval. The projects included on that were 14 Pine Street, Heaton Court, and Glendale Middle Road site to take a look at it. Context, emphasis is on utilizing available funds effectively to address housing affordability. We're looking into state grant opportunities. One of them is called One Stop for Growth. That's through Massachusetts. It was introduced the state's one-stop portal for community grant applications covering areas like planning, infrastructure, zoning, and housing. They help streamline the application process. They give you guidance and feedback of where you should apply and help with the full, before you put in the full application. And then they can direct referrals to other relevant programs if needed. Examples of grants, Great Barrington received 69,000 for engineering and planning and 3.2 million for MassWorks infrastructure. West Tisbury received 500,000 for road and site preparation for affordable housing. And other towns received various grants for water line replacement, homeowner grants, and infrastructure upgrades. So now our next steps are to decide on expressions of interest or EOIs for projects such as Heaton Court and 14 Pine. And we're going to prepare and submit expressions of interest promptly due to upcoming deadlines. And that says January 30th update. So I think we passed that one, but we keep talking. There are other things we're talking about. Okay, we're just blowing through here. All right. Okay, so we did go over, we did, I don't want to be redundant, the housing development and sewer study. So this is about Glendale Middle Road. Everybody from Glendale Middle Road was there. We have not talked about it since. This is just for my notes, just to make it very clear. There's nothing else that's been done. Hi, Jackie. You were there for that presentation, Jackie. I think you were too, Peter. Presentation of the comprehensive sewer study for the Glendale Middle Road area was done. They were called Alternative 1, Alternative 2, and Alternative 3. There was an A and B to certain parts of it. And we just decided to look at the Alternative 2A and an Alternative 2B. So it turned out there actually was there were sewer pipes that were okay for the sewer plant, or the sewer that's there is actually okay for adding more to. Now, that's not to say it's not expensive. With Alternative 2A, if we were to put in 10 units, 10 new housing units, it would be $140,250 per unit. Yeah, sounds a little high considering a septic system is usually between 20 and 50,000. Alternative 2B would be if you put in a possible 30 new housing units, and then it would be somewhere between 65,000 and 83,000. And that would also include hookups for ADUs that were in the area. So the consent, what we were feeling at the time was it was a little high. Okay, concerns about the high cost per unit making affordable housing financially unfeasible, and about the septic system's cost. So we recognize the existing capacity, but acknowledgement of prohibitive cost for affordable housing. So we made a motion to table it until the next meeting, until we can get more financial data. And that hasn't been completed yet, which is why we haven't had a meeting.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And I may be missing something here, but so the sewer department has said that the plant has the capacity for this extra,
And the pipes that lead up to it.
and the pipes are already there.
Mhm.
Okay. Does that take into consideration what's being considered? I'm using the word twice. The DeSisto project, because that's sort of the same thing they're saying about
No,
DeSisto, right?
this is more about just what's on Glendale Middle Road.
Okay,
just
but
about
there's
the
only,
pipes
there's
and
only one
sewers.
plant.
And Peter can probably help me more on this than, because you're an engineer.
Yeah, basically, the way the study came back was that the pipes that are currently in the zone have the capacity to be able to add on the additional units
Right,
that we're proposing. Those would pump low pressure, because we're not gravity, to the Glendale pump station. And that's the capacity that they were looking at, is does that pump station have enough capacity in order to accept an additional 10, or
Yeah.
I think we even went up to 30
Right.
units. It's totally independent of the plant.
Mhm.
And we don't know what the plant's capacity.
That wasn't part
Right,
of the
that-
study.
This was just for the road
Okay.
or the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the expense would be related to laying individual sewer lines to
Each.
individual lots? Yes, I see.
I thought there was septic up there.
No, there are a lot of wetlands up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Makes.
And that's what added to a lot of the costs. It's
Right.
very clay soil and
oh.
drainage.
It would have been nice if we could just put 2 or 3 houses there with a couple of septics, you know?
Yeah. That was even like one of, yeah. It's a tough subject.
It is a tough subject, and I'm hoping we can come to a resolution soon. Anybody else have questions about this part?
Thanks. No.
Okay, so we applied for a community development block grant, and we did it with Great Barrington and Egremont, and we got it. We got it for 3 towns, we got $250,000. The usage of the funds is for improvements to homes, including windows, doors, roofing. And it's based on income guidelines, which comply with under 80% of the area median income. There's a lien on your property for 15 years. If you get through the 15 years, you're good. If you decide to sell or you die and it goes to somebody else, it's the depreciation over that 15 years, which then you would pay back a certain portion of that loan. But a certain portion would be forgiven. So the applications are open but limited due to administrative capacity, and the distributed, right now it's servicing 15 to 16 houses across the 3 towns. So we've made a motion to approve doing it again next year, and everybody said yes. The BRPC, Berkshire Regional Planning Commission, came to speak to us. It was Brett Roberts, he's a senior partner there, and he discussed home modification loan programs, and they're separate from federal funds, it's kind of heartening now, because I think we're going to lose those. So it covers 32 towns and cities in Berkshire County. And we got too many pieces of paper. That was the last one. We'll get
You
there.
didn't number them.
I did number them, but then they just go, okay. So here it is. So we have to do, again, we have to put in a submission of outlining a grant proposal, state agencies provide guidance. So it's the same thing as before in terms of how we apply, but BRPC offers grant writing services, which I talked about at the last meeting. I'd really like to have CJ Haas come talk to us about it, if he could at the next meeting, because I think he could explain it really well and what he can do for us and how he can get us grants to pretty much pay for our comprehensive plan. with the exception of about $10,000 out of our pocket, which we have. State agencies provide guidance on the feasibility of the proposal. Okay, so expertise, so they have a lot of experience handling various grants in the area, including those for housing and infrastructure. And the upcoming opportunities are due, the submissions are due by early June. And Houseworks proposal with funds allocated for rural communities and tourist seasonal areas. The last thing we have is update on Pine Street property. So Andrea Lindsay from the Stockbridge Housing, Eileen Peltier and Jan Ackerman met to discuss Pine Street and its options. It's going to be, it's where the Waldorf School is now. And it's going to be vacant and available for conversion into housing when the school year ends. So they're doing a feasibility study. We're looking at funding options, which is through, there's things, whatever kind of project they deem is feasible, we can figure out what kind of grants to look for. And so we might look at One Stop for that as well. So now we're looking at financing. How do we do this? Usually financing is through tax credits, federal tax credits typically cover 65% of financing. That may change. And states usually only do 15%. So we could be really losing a lot of help here. Something to consider. So loans covering the remaining 20% with rent payments covering loan costs. So the CDBG loans are used to support residents in maintaining their homes through improvements and modifications. So they've been very helpful for us and everybody around the county. And if you can look at CTSB, they had a roundtable that they did with the Edge last week. And it's about an hour and 15 minutes long. And it's well worth listening to because you hear what all the problems are and how they can possibly be addressed. I found it fascinating, but that's because that's what I like to do. So we were also talking about Main Street, that Main Street doesn't seem as active as it used to be, at least maybe not for people in town. So we'd like to see an increase in population that's residential, and that hopefully would bring activity on Main Street up to I'm so sorry I bored you.
It scares me too.
I just thought I put you to sleep. I'm almost done, folks. I'm on the last page. So we encourage development of affordable housing options to attract residents, consideration of housing types that support community engagement and economic growth. And the challenges are balancing the preservation of historic and environmental aesthetics with the new housing development. So addressing short-term rental impacts on housing availability is also quite important. So that we recognize that the master plan hasn't been updated in 30 years and it's in need of revision to address current housing and community needs. And that's essentially everything we've taken care of in the last 3 meetings.
Thank you.
Wow.
Could I, that's
We are a
wonderful.
busy
Could I ask,
group.
could I ask what the scope and projected costs of the redevelopment of the Pine Street property might be?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
We're
see.
just starting to meet about that now, and I'm not part of that
Okay.
discussion. It'll be brought up at the next meeting, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So anytime we're on, you should join and just
Right.
listen. It's kind of fascinating.
And, it's a drop in the bucket, but, the Community Preservation Act monies exist
They do.
that have not really been tapped into for affordable housing at all
That's true.
for quite some time.
That's true. And thank you. That's a good point. Anybody else?
Anybody else? No? Okay.
Boy, that
Thank
was
you.
good.
It was good, very concise.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you very much. Update on accessory dwelling unit changes for the zoning bylaws. As far as I know, there aren't any. And we'll just move that to the next meeting.
Were we going to have Mike Canales come talk to us about that? The new law?
Yeah, we can ask him. I mean, he could do it on Zoom,
Yeah. I think that the selectmen, we gave our changes to the selectmen.
Mhm.
They gave them back to Kate, and I think Kate was gonna discuss it tonight, but
Okay.
she's not here.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll push that till the next meeting. And the only other thing we have left is a continued discussion on the master plan up and an update. And as was just mentioned, the master plan is old. And until we started needing it for grants, it appears that nobody cared about it. And so at this point, it seems like the best thing that we could do, and again, this is just, I'll throw it out there, but it just seems to me like time is running out to apply for it. Am I correct?
It's for applying for a grant to, yes, absolutely, but that would push it to next year if we don't get it in.
Right. And do you know what the cutoff is today or
He
currently?
told me April/May. We didn't have exact dates at the time when I spoke to him.
And who was that?
CJ Haas at BRPC.
Okay, all right.
And he'd love to come speak to us about it,
Okay,
if it's possible to get him to come next time.
yeah.
Because I'd like to move forward. I'd certainly like to make a motion to move forward to at least.
Is it
try to apply.
HAUS,
What's that?
his last name?
HOSS.
Oh, HOSS.
Haas.
Oh, Haas. Okay. I was giving him a letter.
And I can, if you want, I can ask him to come to the next meeting.
I have no problem with it.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna like make any kind of May deadline or April,
Well,
but I just don't know how long it has to take. I mean,
Well, this isn't the actual doing of it. This is just the asking for the money to do it.
There doesn't seem to be a downside.
and
to
they
applying
can-
for the grant.
well,
Right.
right, we're applying for a grant to write
right.
the
Right.
comprehensive
Yeah.
plan.
And, we went through it a little bit last meeting. And obviously, there's updating that needs to be done as far as facts and figures and such. And if they could do something like what Lee did, that would get us in a good standing to apply for grants, then we could always work on it more later. But if it just seems to me like if we could do something like that, that would be, it would seem fine
Mhm.
in my opinion, but again, it's the board's decision.
Right, and he can talk to us about the kind of grants he can get us. And
Right.
keep our costs relatively, really low.
Yeah.
Now, the lead plan, was that facilitated by regional planning?
Yeah.
Okay, did they work with anyone else there, or do you know? I mean, in terms of coming up with, with Lee's new comprehensive plan, yeah,
Well, you involve the whole town.
right.
But they set it up. They'll run the whole thing. It's really well done.
Okay.
It's for the price, it's really good. I mean, Kate thought it was 220,000 the last time she looked.
It was, I can
Right.
recall that. It was
Well,
well into those
It's a
numbers.
third of that now,
Oh.
at least through them. And they do beautiful work and they do it in the Berkshires, so.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think that unless anybody else had anything else to talk about with the master plan, we can push that and meld it into inviting CJ Haas to our next meeting.
Mhm.
And
I'll give him a call tomorrow.
then does anybody else have any agenda items that they'd like to add to our next meeting? I think with this CJ and the master plan, it'll probably be a full enough discussion that we don't need anything else.
Right, I mean, I spent half.
Unless we have something, do we have anything that we have to, we don't have any like Form As or anything going? Okay. Zoom folks, do you have any questions or comments?
Keep up the good work.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. That means a lot from you. It does.
Go Liz.
Anything else in the room? I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye. Thank you all.